Hi, I'm going to talk today about why all this National Guard in DC is a terrible, terrible idea. And no, I'm not going to go with any kind of moral or appearances argument because if you're going to get that argument, you already get it. And if you're not going to get it, we can't. I'm not going to change your morals by telling you the way I see the world. I can only explain to you how I see it so maybe you can understand versus. But it doesn't mean you're going to change your point of view. But how many people are familiar with the training the National Guard gets? For real. Um, a lot of people could probably quote 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, and that's their training. Um, and I don't know how many people here have served active duty and ever trained some National Guardsmen, but it's a giant joke, and it really is. And don't get me wrong, there are that's not. I'm not talking across the board. Not everyone is doing this wrong. There's plenty of places doing this right and getting proper training. But Virginia, which is where myself and most of my vet buddies were the ones training the people that are doing the DC stuff because it's Virginia. DC not being a state, being separate, and all sorts of weird stuff. Um, and training was a joke. They just got in the way and they got pushed aside, and they sat in the corner and gossiped and played on their phones with their buddies that they would see every so often. What's even more terrifying is, okay, you could say, oh, all right, well, how much training do they really need? I don't know. You handed them automatic weapons and mounting them to Humvees and putting them in groups of 25,000 people. All you need is one scared 30-year-old who hasn't had weapons training in 10 years. All you need him to do is panic a little bit because he's worried he might not go home and see his kid because all we've been hearing about is all these 75 million Nazis that are going to show up and we need 25,000 soldiers to defend it. Do we need 25,000 or not? If we don't, all you're doing is creating a situation for someone to be scared and panic and squeeze a trigger. And I'm sure everyone understands what that means. It doesn't mean one person gets shot once. It means possibly 600 people fire their rifles within a second into a crowd, possibly. I mean, Kent State. Why is this not being spoken about? Why is no one brought up Kent State or any of this kind of stuff? I mean, okay, it wasn't National Guard, but just the government in general. Let's look at Ruby Ridge. Waco was handled wrong. You can say all these people were crazy, which Ruby Ridge really wasn't. But you can say they're all crazy if you want, but that doesn't give the government the authority to go and just execute people with these massive military forces in the United States. It's insane, and I can't believe we're allowing this. And excuse me, before some crazy Biden supporter tells me this is absolutely necessary. Donald Trump is the president right now, and he's the one who gets to make the call on what happens. So are you scared now? Maybe now that the conspiracy goes in your direction, not the other direction. I mean, dear God. I mean, yeah, Kent State was bad enough. And last time I checked, being crazy is not illegal. Being an asshole is not illegal. Being loud, by that I mean obnoxious, is not illegal. Look what we had happen all summer. And don't get me wrong, they're going to try to convince you that this entire past summer did not happen with all this rioting. They're going to convince you it did not happen. I'm sure most of you aren't that dumb. But, I mean, they're already... when it was happening, they were saying it was mostly peaceful. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there because of this whole violence thing. But realistically, I mean, I trust local police forces getting together as a first line of defense against a foreign invasion on land than I do the National Guard. By the time you can get the Guard together, you could already have state police and county and local police there with weaponry almost as good as the Guard anyway, and they have more training. Stop supporting a military occupation of the capital of our country. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you intend to vote for. I don't care if you voted for Biden because you hate Trump or because you love him. I don't care if you voted for Trump or Joe Jorgensen. Everyone is saying that we're destroying our nation by whatever the other person's doing. There are 25,000 soldiers in the capital of our country, and we got half the country saying that's a good thing because the other half are Nazis. If you genuinely believe that half this country is Nazis, then I hope you realize that someone on either this side of your house or that side of your home is a Nazi. I hope you realize that. For the love of God, pull your heads out of your asses and pay attention. Don't just be butthurt because your guy didn't win or pissed off because the other guy wasn't charged for 4 years. Let's have a look at what's going on. You call for unity, but when you put up razor wire and put machine guns between you and everyone else, it doesn't really speak unity.